Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate breakdown for June 15th. We're going to go over the whole slate. Before we do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to all our videos. And if you are not already, come join us at LineStar. It's only $29.99 per month. Gets you access to all of our tools, all the DFS stuff, all the prop stuff. Best deal on DFS by far. Prop betting industry included in that statement. So, without further ado, let's jump into the slate. As always, head to the projections and straight to ownership. We got a 7-gamer today. Let's move my face out of the way here and let's look at some ownership here. So, starting up, we got Sonny Gray coming in at the highest owned, almost 39%. He is 9,300 today. He is in a decent spot versus a Tigers offense that is striking out almost 26% versus righties. Huge strikeout upside here. They also have a low WOBA versus righties, a low ISO versus righties, and haven't been great versus Sonny Gray. So this shows the last 22 at-bats over here in this BVP area. It is showing over the last 3 years, there has been 52 at-bats versus this expected lineup, which Sonny Gray has done real good versus. 0.17 average, 34.6% K rate. The combined K rate today is only 22%. So that's likely due to his last 5 starts. Sonny Gray has only been striking out 16.8%. Now, that may change. His last 5 have against the Dodgers, Giants, Astros, Guardians, and Blue Jays. Outside of San Francisco, not teams that strike out a ton. The other thing in Gray's favor is he is averaging almost 52% more fantasy points when at home. So he is in a really good spot today. It makes a lot of sense that people are going there, especially at this discounted 9.3K salary. Next, we got Nathan Eovaldi versus the Angels. Now, these days, I don't love picking on the Angels. We did it a ton last year. This year, it's been a little different. Eovaldi has been super good lately. 3.64 FIP, but a 2.16 ERA. So he has been good limiting runs lately. Over the last 20 starts, 2.92 ERA, 22% K rate. So there's not major K upside here, although Eovaldi does have games where he really finds his strikeout stuff, and then he's able to just mow the field down. I don't know if this today is going to be that. Angels only strike out 22.8% versus righties. They do have a high ISO versus righties. The one thing in their favor is the last 32 at-bats that Eovaldi has been really good versus the Angels and allowing a 1.60 ERA. However, when we take that out to the last 3 years, there's been 95 plate attempts. Angels hitting 244 off him. It is a low ISO, but also a fairly low K rate, especially for this salary of 10.8. If he is high owned, I'm probably not going there because I just don't know if the upside is there following Eovaldi with the field. Next, we got Shohei Otani. He is versus the best offense in the league. They're striking out 22.4%, so not a super high strikeout. They have a real high ISO versus righties, 0.193, a high WOBA. This is a very good offense. And Otani has not been on his stuff lately. Our projection for him is super low. If he's getting ownership, I'm out. Now, he is a great pitcher. Over the last 3.21 FIP, 32% K rate. That K rate has been there lately too. He's just allowing some more runs and whatnot. Now he has faced some good offenses, but he's going to face another good offense here. So I don't love it at this price point. But hey, Showtime can do it versus any team. Just at higher ownership, I don't know if I'm following it. Now we got Christian Javier, also right around 25%. Washington does not strike out a ton, only 18% K rate versus righties. Javier does have some strikeout upside, though, 28% K rate over the last 20 starts. However, that is down to 18% over the last 5, and that combined K rate is super low. 17.7% for a guy of his caliber is very surprising, but he probably works deep into the game. He will probably get enough strikeouts to make it work. And if he finds his K stuff, he can absolutely have a solid ceiling game. 22-point projection for 10.2 is okay too. Next, we got Stroman. 8,700. This Pittsburgh offense has been hitting pretty well, but wind is blowing in big time. Now, Wrigley, we've said it over and over again, is majorly affected due to wind. With the wind blowing in, it's really going to knock that ball down and not allow as many home runs. And Stroman's been pretty good. 3.19 FIP over his last 5, 3.45 over his last 20. That K rate isn't real high, but at 8,700, you could do worse than a 20% combined K rate. 19.65 projection isn't bad either. So now I'm going to go down the list to a lower owned guy that is a value option that I really like. We got AJ Smith-Sauber. Look, this kid in the AAA this year has a 14.8 strikeout per 9 rate. He has major strikeout stuff. That hasn't really shown up yet at the major league level, but I think it really could today. 25% K rate versus righties for Colorado. He's in a good spot. He's at home. I don't mind going to AJ Smith-Sauber at all, especially at these prices. Vado is another one that's kind of interesting. Not a real high combined K rate at 22%, but at 7,200, I do not mind that. And again, dealing with the same Wrigley weather where the wind is blowing hard in. So Cubs strike out at 22.5%. I think it's interesting, and he's been pitching pretty well lately. High 3s FIP. Been limiting some runs. I don't mind going to him. And if you want to get a little crazy, it seems like Dylan Cease may be figuring it out finally. 4.4 FIP over the last 5, 3.88 over the last 20, 24% K rate. The combined K rate is 24.6 versus Dodger team that strikes out 24% versus righties. We know this Dodger offense is good, and they are good versus righties. Real high ISO, it's real solid WOBA. But C seems to maybe be figuring out stuff a little bit. He's struggled big time this year, but the last couple starts have been promising. No ownership, 8,200 for a guy that was in the 10Ks most of last year is a little bit interesting if you want to be a little risky here. Outside of that, I don't really love the low end side. You could go Matthew Boyd. He is super cheap. Has some strikeout upside. 24.8% combined K rate here is nice. And Minnesota, 21.6% K rate versus lefties. If you see this decent WOBA, decent ISO though versus lefties. So Minnesota is a decent offense versus lefties. But I don't mind it. Wind blowing in 10%, gonna limit, or 10 miles an hour, gonna limit some home runs. He has shown some upside today. Super cheap. You could do worse than going there if you want a value option. Now let's click over to FanDuel. And highest owned is Shohei Otani. You know my thoughts with how he's been pitching against the best offense in the league. I don't love following the chalk here, and I will probably go elsewhere. Sonny Gray coming in next. I do like Gray. I like Javier. Want to get wild, you can go Cease. Also could go Johan Vado. And then also AJ Smith-Sauver, which I really like, value option. Then you can pay up for some bats. Now let's get into some stacks. See what we got going today. As always, go to the 5. So we'll just start at ceiling just because that's where it is here. Look, this Braves team actually could be the top ceiling team almost every single day. And Freeland, aka Free Bomb, is there ripe for the picking. 5.3 FIP over his last 5 starts, 4.25 over the last 20. You know, he is decent when he is away from Coors, but Atlanta at home is always in a really good spot, and I do not mind any of the Braves today. I think they're in a great spot. Next, we got Dylan Cease versus the Dodgers. So this is a really expensive Dodger stack. Like yesterday, I will warn you that there are cheaper ones to go, and you probably can't get all the Dodger studs into one lineup. If you do, you're paying down for pitchers twice. So the Dodgers, I don't mind today. Cease has been vulnerable this year, and if he is that way again, Dodgers are going to get some guys on, and there's a couple guys, multiple guys that can hit a bomb off Cease. So I don't mind it. Rangers versus Otani. I don't love it, but Otani has got roughed up a little bit lately. Almost a FIP of 5 over his last 5 starts. We got Padres versus Logan Allen. Logan Allen has been decent. His last time out wasn't great, but this Padre offense is hitting well lately, so you got to be a little intrigued. Pittsburgh, with this win coming in, I don't really love it. Now let's go to the value option. We got Minnesota versus Matthew Boyd. Houston versus Mackenzie Gore. I do like this one of Houston versus Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore actually was possibly going to be shut down for the season just a couple of weeks ago due to some nerve issue. It seems to be, straightened out, but you never know when that could pop up. And this Washington national team gives up a lot of bombs. So don't mind picking on Gore, especially with his low 5s FIP over the last 20 and the last 5. And Cleveland picking on Ryan Weathers is absolutely a situation you can do as well. 6.5 FIP, 5.5 FIP over the last 20, and pretty cheap there. So now let's get into the projections. Highest projected, the Braves, the Dodgers, Houston. We've talked about all of them. I like them, and you could do worse going with them. And the highest owned today is Minnesota versus Matthew Boyd. As I talked about, I don't mind Matthew Boyd as a very cheap pitcher. That will give you major owner leverage, with Minnesota being the highest owned stack today. Now, I don't love the Minnesota stack. Boyd hasn't gotten slammed too much. He absolutely can, but I think there's other ways we can go today, especially when there's some value pitchers that are interesting, like AJ Smith-Sauver. So you may be able to pay up for one of the better offenses in the league, and that's probably what I am doing today. So, quick rundown today. That will do it for us. One of the things I was thinking is, should we start going over a quick rundown of yesterday's slate on these videos? If you would like that, please leave the comment on the comments in the video, please. And if people want it, we can absolutely do a little rundown of yesterday's slate, maybe go over the perfect lineups and the winning lineups from FanDuel and DraftKings. Might make these videos a little bit longer, but if people want it, we can do it. All right, guys, have a good one today. Good luck. See you tomorrow. Bye.